Unmute. All right. Did. Let me drink my tea. All right. Let's start. This screen's very small, but nevertheless, try to make space. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Betterment Broadcast. I'm your host, Rap Raven. What I'm going to do, let me switch to my PDF. Excellent. Look at that. Now, I'm using one screen here, so it's going to take me a bit longer than normal, but not to worry. All right. So, welcome to the 117th show. That's right. 117 shows we have dedicated to try to help Black people collectively. Excellent. Good idea. Let me close this down. Close that down. What's this one? I don't know. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Don't need that. There you go. All right. Cool. Let's go through it. So here's a free start statement. So I recommend if you try to help Black people, this will help you. It might be confusing at first, but bear with us. So the free start statement you have to remember when we try to help Black people is, unfortunately, Black people are collectively inadequate. Yes, very, very strong statement, but it's something we have to unpack. Also, collectively, Black people have no friends. Very important quote there for you to remember. And last, but by no means least, the most important, in my opinion, constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. Voila. If you remember those things will work for you. You disagree, jump in and let's have a conversation. Nice, excellent, fantastic, cool. So, when we send out the link today, as we tend to do, we want to try to practice the 4D values. Now, what are the 4D values? They are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. So, whenever we talk to Black people about trying to be constructive and find solutions, remember these 4D things, and it will help you. Trust me, I know. Cool. Also, can you try to not use derogative language, if possible, use descriptive language. Take a screen grab of the shop. These are language that some people use towards left. Maybe we want to replace them with words towards the right of your screen. Maybe one day I'll read those out again, but I think you understand what it is. So we'll move on. Don't forget that. So for those who don't know who Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. There you go. That is what it is. We shall also unpack Black Betterment because I have done some debates and the word black sometimes scares people. So we have a solution for that. So Black Betterment is a lifestyle. That's right. That's right. We're going to be showing a whole lot of videos. None of the videos are ours. We're going to use those of the Copyright Act from 1976. So please don't get too angry if you don't mind. Please don't mind. All right. Also, what I'm going to do, I'm going to post this because I do it every week, but who knows if you follow it or not? Who knows? Please follow the Instagram page. Be a friend of that page. And there it is. And when we get a bit more followers, we're going to start doing campaigns from that page. All right. Now you know. So, what is today's episodes about? Well, a very important topic. How do we protect babies from being abducted? Black babies, that is, from being abducted. And what motivates Black people arguing with each other to defend non-Black people? So where does this come from? A brother approached me on Instagram, and he I don't know if he wants to be named, but he can be if he's here. Just I'll bring him up. But some people don't like being named, so I won't. And he was just and he highlighted something that I was aware of, but it was basically in America and England and Canada or wherever a lot of these places that speak English language. There's like this kind of man movement, manosphere kind of movement going on, and there's obviously people who get Black people, of course, who are doing it. They've got their shows and they talk. But something I noticed that not too long ago we covered that there was a European lady, or maybe she's Canadian, maybe she's American. I'm not too sure, but she's entered this space, and people are saying she's now the king or the queen, sorry, of the Black manosphere. And then there's some hoo-ha because obviously there actually are Black women in that kind of world who speak, who become advocates for men, I guess. And the Black women don't seem to get this title, but there's a woman of European descent who does, and so people were concerned. And just Black men and Black women and Black people in general just falling for like so. Well, it could be defined as off-code behavior, and we'll go over that. But yeah, so anyway, there's some instances with her show where I don't know it too well because I haven't looked, but I've got the videos. And basically, what it is I want to say in one of these shows, I think they heavily critiqued this European woman, white woman, and I think she had some Black gentleman on her show who came jumping to her aid. So we're gonna unpack that. There's a history of that, like Francis Cress Wilson says, like, and I think Neely Fuller Jr. said as well, like, getting many Black people together in one space and talking, you've got to really have an agenda, or you might just start arguing. And as we all know, Black people are very prone to arguing with each other. It's a psychological sickness that we pick up. So it's something you have to be aware of. And what you never want to be doing is arguing with another Black person for in the defense of a non-black person who might have been saying things definitely probably that wasn't in your collective best interest. There's things to think about. These are codified behavior, blah blah blah. So let's see what we can see. So let's see if we can unpack that. So I think I've done this in order. So let's see what I'm going to talk through it because obviously I might not, I've just downloaded videos. So let's see if we can start the starting of this. Now we're going to start first with this concept of what motivates black people to argue with each other to defend non-black people, and then we're going to go on a much more serious topic, very sad topic. How do we protect black babies from being abducted? This comes from because a very, very brave sister Afua does a show where she tries to expose men who mistreat women and children as well. But also she covers other issues when it comes to black women health and black women's needs. Unfortunately, there's a situation where a black woman is reporting that the powers that be are trying to take away her daughter. Her baby. I should say. I'm not sure the sex of the baby. And Sister Afro was covering this, and we're obviously going to offer support. So we're going to cover it, and any kind of like event that's around it, we're going to show support. And I'm aware, I believe that tomorrow, Sunday, I want to say 12, but I could be wrong. So let me get the info. They're doing some kind of rally. So just about it. But before we go to that deep topic, we're going to go to just the second topic, and let's have a look at the information at hand. Let's see what we have here. Play.
The root of all evil. That's what she said. Okay, my girl.
Say it. I don't.
Let's rewind this. Let's get to the beginning. Hold on.
If this was Pearl's world, I'd get rid of birth control. I'd ban it, but that'll never happen.
This is a woman. Her name's Pearl. Don't really know her personally, but she's in a space called the Manosphere, and they do it's like a collective idea, whatever, where it's like advocate for men, like men have been harmed a certain kind of way and women don't know. So she's now advocating for women, and she's from America, and she's based in the UK, I want to say. And she has a lot of black women on her show as well as a lot of black men, and the black men tend to be kind of like the co-hosts, and they're like kind of talking to black women about certain things. And what the people were saying, she's doing so well at this particular thing that people have given her the title, the black. What do they call it? I don't know what they call it, but they give her a title of something of a splendid nature. Right. So she said this comment. I think these two gentlemen, they're based in Canada or America, one of the places, and I think they're not best pleased with something she said, so they're reviewing her content.
I think that's the root of all evil. And I'd actually go for the root of all evil.
The root of all evil. That's what she said. Okay, my girl.
Say it. I don't think women should know. Huh? I don't think women should know.
Lord Jesus, keep on going.
Yeah,
no it. Women, you can't vote. No birth control. Keep it going.
Yeah, no, because it's always freedom.
This is one of our black guests.
Without responsibility. And
I
so
love
the
women
reason
should not vote. Pearly said it herself.
I'll tell you why though. I'll tell you why. Because it was freedom without responsibility. And before women, I believe in consequences for your decision. So the men know if they vote someone batshit crazy into power, you guys get drafted. We don't. Women decide elections. We're 55% of the population. I think if we want to vote, equally draft us. Y'all want equality. And personally, I don't want to get drafted, so I'll be in the kitchen.
So one thing, as you know, there's many people who have different views, and there's people who, regardless of what gender or sex they are, they might have something that people might think might not be supportive of their gender or sex, and they might say that, this is the truth, I see it, so I speak truth to power. But also something to also to be aware that the manosphere space and it is a space where you can collate a lot of following very quickly, because there's a lot of men who feel a certain way, and if anyone is speaking in a way that they agree with, you can get a mass following. So it can be a good kind of social experiment or a social way to really push up your following by entering the space from the standpoint of man advocacy. There you go. Let's play.
Wait, hold on. I thought she was crazy. I think she has a point.
Go ahead.
He's talking about equality.
Sure.
That's just the birth control thing. Hey, yo. But I understand where she's coming from with the drafting thing.
2 hours later.
No, it's not because they vote and they don't get drafted that they don't suffer the consequences of not being what. Nah. So yeah, no, I got nothing. I really tried.
Why don't you just say women should get drafted? The whole idea of you shouldn't get voted to get drafted.
No.
First off, when's the last time a draft happened? been, what, 30, 40, 50 years? Okay, that's one. Two, you act like when people get elected to be politicians, they don't enact laws.
So what I'm analyzing here is there's a woman who does manifest stuff. She says some very personal, strong views about what women should and shouldn't be able to do, and this kind of stuff. And these two gentlemen, they have a show where they review content. They're based in Canada, I want to say, and they disagree with what she's saying. So we're analyzing when black men jump in front of non-black people, or black people, I should say, but black men in this particular issue, jump in front of non-black people to protect them. This is something we need to be very aware of because it's very, very happens a lot. And I think many black people, they don't see this, but we're going to carry on this for a bit.
It negatively impacts strictly women. What, you think a birth control ban wouldn't affect women primarily?
No, it's just men.
What do you think an abortion ban doesn't affect women primarily? Right? There are plenty of laws that a crazy batshit politician come in and enact that would primarily only affect women. Well, you pulled up drafts, which is like something that rarely, if ever, happens. And then you're just using that to say they should lose their right to vote. And the birth control thing was so crazy to me. It's like, argument for the birth control, I guess, is because of birth control, women can now be more selective.
Now, this is relatively a long video, so let me just skip this. I don't know if there's any. I'm skipping it, but I don't know what I'm doing. But let's see if there's anything juicy.
You are bugging. You are bugging. Play this clip to 99% of people, and they'll be like, you are bugging.
Yes, but peep game. In their way of thinking, that's the truth. That women do a whole bunch of crazy things without any repercussion. They just do shit. It's wild. And if they do shit and it's wild, and they vote and it's wild, to them, that's the truth. And that's why they call it the truth.
Yeah, it's still misogyny.
Yes.
You can't say this is the truth, it's not misogyny,
but it's like
your truth is bullshit. And we pointed out, but I would never want to associate with the label because of cringe shit like this, right? Oh, red pill's the truth. Yeah.
All right, so now they're talking about the red pill. So let's go back, see if we can. So I don't know, a red pill, they take an analogy from the Matrix where they're saying there's just way women are behaving collectively and certain men are aware of it. And when they're aware of it, they've taken the red pill, while the men who are not aware of it, they've taken the blue pill. This is a metaphor from a film.
Talking about hypergamy and the idea that, like, you know, there's some discriminatory practices that women engage in that are absolutely hypocritical, and then they demand to be coddled all the time about their preferences or whatever. It's like, yeah, no. There are some bullshit. And we pointed out, but I would never want to associate with the label because of cringe shit like this, right? Oh, red pill's the truth. Yes, and feminism stands for equality, but 99% of you niggas don't want to call yourselves feminists, okay? For a reason. Because you understand that even though at its root it may be that, you understand the way it manifests in the world and the way that it's marketed isn't that. Same thing with red pill. It's like, I could buy into a lot of the truth things that they say, but guess what? You guys are so fucking cringe online and say so much.
Forgive the colorless language. It hasn't been edited out.
Radical dumb shit that I'm like, I would never want to associate with that kind of branding. Ever. Listen to that. And
all right, so we're going to stop it there. Now we're going to listen to I guess the response, maybe. I think that's what this is. Rewind.
Are we addressing?
I'm not sure now. So they made a 20 whatever minute long video about the issues this woman was talking about. And let's see the response on the actual show. Now, this was based in the UK.
The elephant in the room, which is what? Huh? Right, listen, I'll light up the internet, Mo. I'll light up the internet.
Please address the elephant.
Okay, let me.
So break down. This is the lady's show, and she usually has women on, and she also has black men as guests usually. I'm sure she has white men as well, but they seem to be a tremendous amount of black men. And I think her preference with men is black men as well. I don't know if that correlates or adds to why there's so many black men. And I think this man is going to. So now I don't know where the show is going, but I think he's about to bring up these guys from Canada speaking in a disagreement with the host of the show, who's a white lady.
Let me address it. Let me address a little bit of it. You get me? Because it seems like Pearl don't want to address it. I'll address it. First,
well, he just said something there. He says that it seems like Pearl doesn't want to address it. So that means the person who they were talking about was, let it go or whatever, if it was an issue at all. But this gentleman wants to address it.
First and foremost, yeah, if you want to clip this, you could clip this and send this wherever you want to send this, bro. Just Pearly Things, yeah, Just Pearly Things is a network, yeah. So when you tag Just Pearly Things, just know you're coming for everyone on the show with all our views combined.
So what the bro's done there is there's people on the show who have their own views, one would think, and he's saying that if you disagree, you tag a hashtag with the name in. He wants you to see this white woman as more of an institution. This is something I think black men should make. For black men should make institutions, but I think he's kind of seeing this individual more as an institution. So if you critique something that she says, you're critiquing all the black men who are on it. Obviously, I definitely don't recommend we should do that as a behavior plan, but let's see where it goes.
Yeah. So I'll start with that. Secondly, Abbott and Preach, yeah, these guys.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, like, should I? All right.
This is left the field, but go on.
Okay, so first of all, yeah.
This is the elephant in the room.
Yeah, this is the elephant in the room because do you know what they're doing? They've gone around, yeah, and my man has basically said you're misogynistic. Bro, a man called a woman misogynistic because you know what I'm trying to say.
I think a lot of these men are probably on a payroll. I think she's quite doing to quite well to the point where people might get paid. Not too sure. Don't quote me on that. What do I know?
And
They say going to say divorce, but keep going, bro.
No. We gonna get them. We gonna get them. Listen, you've sat down and you've ate off just pearly things by tagging us, yeah. And your production is not our production. Our production is big out here. You get me? We have guests coming in. We have big sets. Ask Blessing. You know what I'm saying? We have stuff. We go outside. We put people in black people's pockets. Yeah. So for two guys from wherever you lot from. Because it's not from Haiti, because if it was from Haiti, you would have spoke about it, yeah? You would have spoke about what's going on in Haiti, but it don't sound like that. Sound like you from Upsa.
Those who are joining us now, what we're doing is the second part of the show, which we're going in reverse, is about black people who jump in front of non-black people to defend them from criticism from other black people, and they create kind of friction, fracas, and wars with other black people on the behalf or by proxy for non-black people. And what we're reviewing here is there was a situation where some guys in Canada weren't best pleased with a European woman's opinions, and they directly mentioned it. And this gentleman here from the UK is jumping in front of her to take that and say, if you ever make fun of this European woman and her network, you make fun of all the black men. And he's now saying that I believe that the black men have been paid. That's another thing about why it's important that black people get institutions where we pay ourselves, because paying people sometimes really sends them a certain kind of way. It's a very good strategy of how to kind of control black people. Not that I'm saying that's what's happening here, but generally, just in general, when you play a black person, especially one from poverty, then you tend to find that it's very hard to predict what they might not say.
So listen, let me say something to you two guys here. Do not mention just pearly things again, yeah? Otherwise, there'll be more smoke, bro. I got bare smoke for you.
Now, what I would like to know, and I'm probably wrong, and I would like to be wrong, I would like to know that there's probably this brother here has had the same kind of energy defending a black woman, and if so, we have to give him a medal, because we always have to look at the parallels. If we jump on and we are really fighting for non-black people, regardless if they're called friends or not friends, whatever, how are we seeing optically doing that for the black variant in our community? Let's see.
Look, bro, both of you lot, I got smoke for Abba and Preach, bro. Preach a little bit less, but Abba, I got smoke for you, bro. Pearl, how old are you?
I just turned 26.
Right, Pearl just turned 26. You lot are big men, yeah? And I've heard you lot say on your on your little review thing, yeah? You said on your own review thing, when I was younger, I used to do dinner.
Big up, brother IC3 and brother King Cow.
No. You lot are big.
Big up anyone else who's in. Don't forget, we'll be throwing links for you to jump on, for you have to just say. Let's know your opinion on this in the links if you want. We are talking about black people who jump in front of non-black people to defend them from criticism. And that's what we're seeing here today.
Man trying to tell, bro, we got smoke for you lot, bro. Please don't mention it.
When you say that, don't say we. Just say you got smoke, because I ain't got no smoke for no one.
No, that's what I said. That's what I said. I got smoke for these guys.
So this is it's something we should unpack as a case study. Like, why would a black person do this? But once again, I don't know the brother. I'm sure he has his justified reasons.
I got smoke for them because it didn't just say pearl. They said just pearly things. They quoted it. So now you're talking about the whole network. These men do reviews in front of a camera and an iPhone. Don't try it, bro. Don't compare what pearl does to what you lot do.
Come on.
People come on this show and they could tell their views all day, every day, and no one stopped them. Pearl gives them equal time to talk. So it goes out to even girls out there that try to talk crap and follow this misogynistic crap. You don't know what misogynistic means, bro. You're on the misanthropy stuff, yeah? That's what you lot do, bro. I'll light up the internet, bro. I'll light them up, bro. Listen, you lot are spreading rumors and lies and clipping things. Don't watch that. Girls come on here every single day when we got shows on and talk madness, the most madness, and expect not to get clips, bro. You lot will get clipped if you talk madness, bro. If you talk madness, you get clipped. If you want to come on the show and talk sense, Pearl, how many girls have you seen come on here with like a notepad with notes or something about feminism and that?
Maybe one. Does that count? Maybe two. 1, 2.
It's all right. What about you?
Maybe one.
They always say, I feel like. They don't come here with facts to debate and have good discussions and move the consensus on, bro. Just waste cadets, bro. Stay at home on TikTok and keep banging people and do what you lot do, bro. Go to your 9 to 5 and don't try to succeed at nothing, bro. And die alone with your cats and dogs. No one cares. You do you, boo-boo. But don't try to tell us we can't discuss it among people that want to discuss it, yeah? Stay off just pearly things, bro. Please. Fire. Got one. Yeah. We got smoke, bro.
Right, that was so left of field, bro. But
no,
I'm glad you got it off your chest.
How the hell was that the elephant?
How was that the elephant in the room, brother?
I'll tell you why. Because
we were
the only one that saw that.
We're talking about divorce, bro.
We were talking about divorce. I'm like, I don't even know where he's going with this.
No, because you were saying things about in the video. They were. I'll address what they were saying.
He's still going.
I'll address what they were saying in the video. They're saying Pearl is misogynistic because she thinks that.
We have to know is the woman who they addressed isn't speaking. That's another thing. So there's now a feud going between two black guys, and the woman they're talking about hasn't really jumped in and said not to worry or whether it might be. It's just case study. This case study stuff.
Women should not vote. Yeah. But she said that in tongue in cheek, yeah.
And also this kind of like defending statements. The best person to defend statements, the person who made it.
Bring up the debate which you lot are having, yeah. And you said, quote your words, it's like saying a black man saying we should bring back slavery. I'm saying that now we should bring back slavery because I'll tell you why. Since Haiti fought for their freedom, the first to do it.
Calm down.
Well, no, I'm just being tongue in cheek.
I'm not involved here. Yeah.
I'm being tongue in cheek. I'm saying
don't bring back slavery, please.
No. Don't. You see, that's the problem we got with the internet. There's the 1% people that's dictating to the 99% about how the English language should be used. Like we don't understand context, we don't understand nuances, we don't understand debate. So when they try to try to shift.
So what we're seeing here is we're seeing like a tragic history in black people's past being used as a kind of like metaphor to defend this European woman, and this time we have to be very aware of. Hopefully, someone can reach the brother. I've spoke to Sarah Garvey at Speaker's Corner days. Hopefully, he sat in and spoke to his brother, but I'm not too sure.
The goalposts and make straw man arguments. We're not having it, bro. We have debates on just pearly things, on the grey area, on King Richard's show, on Auntie Jenny's show. It's not just two guys sitting down in front of a camera. Do not come for smoke. I'll come for you guys. Intellectually though, because you got some bad issues that you lot need to sort out, both of you.
Well.
What you're noticing is the woman's jumping in and saying, "Not to worry, I'll handle it, whatever." Something to be
divorce.
Back to divorce, guys.
All right. So we can leave that. Now let's jump back to I don't know. I've got one more video, two more before we jump.
Begin. The madness starts now.
Are we addressing the elephant in the room?
Which is what?
Huh? Listen.
So they've obviously reviewed what he said. Let's click through that. I think they're reviewing. Let's see what they say back. Let's see.
Maybe we need to upscale the apartment. Whatever. You're better than us.
Do not mention just pearly things again, yeah? Otherwise, there'll be more smoke, bro. I got bare smoke for you lot, bro. Both of you lot. I got smoke for Abba and Preach, bro. Preach a little bit less, but Abba, I got smoke.
I just turned 26.
All right, Pearl just turned 26. You lot are big men, yeah? And I've heard you lot say on your little review thing, yeah? You said on your own review thing, when I was younger, I used to do dinner, You lot are big men trying to tell.
Let's read some comment. It appears to me that this white woman made her name by taking over front. Let me put that on the other thing. It appears to me that this white woman made her name by taking over front stage on Sarah Garvey's The Black Opinion show format. Now it looks like they have dumped the black man. Is this true? Well, no, I think what's happening now is I'm not too sure who started first, but I think she hires them now. And I think when you pay people, you probably get like a bigger turnout. So she'll have a lot of black men, including, I think, brother Sarah Garvey, who jumps on the show. I haven't spoke to him since. I don't really know. But yeah, that's what I think. But anyway, this stuff, let me get repetitive. So let me see. Yeah, so basically they're just going to respond and say,
calm down and finish your point. Like, I don't even know what this is about.
Do you know what he said last video? You cannot say you guys are red pill, you guys are not about misogyny, and also saying you want to remove women's ability to vote and have access to birth control. That's it. Everyone gonna paint you as a misogynist. If you want to be taken seriously in this public sphere, you can't say you want to take away people's basic fundamental rights. That's it. That was the entire point of the fucking video. Which I think, if you're watching, you probably would agree. I don't think you can really go out here and claim you're not a racist person and also say you want to remove black people's ability to vote or black people's ability to have birth control or have premarital sex. Like, you're just not going to win that argument.
Bro, please don't mention it.
When you say that, don't say we, just say you got smoked, because I ain't got no smoke for no one.
No, that's what I said.
Yeah, your man threw you under the bus. No, he didn't. No. He said, remember when he started this? He said, just pearly things, yeah? There's a bad man out here who are under that name. She's putting in money in the pockets of bad men out here, yeah?
He didn't throw
and then, if you come for just pearly things, you come for all of us. And he went, who's we?
He didn't throw him under the bus.
What?
He just didn't cross. He didn't. Hey, I'm gonna wait for the light. He didn't cross. He didn't cross. No.
I'm gonna love it. This man pulled out the DMX track. They don't know. Get her, who we be.
Who you be?
Who you be?
We got smoke for you lot. More smoke, bro. I got bare smoke for you lot, bro. I got smoke for Abba, I got smoke for you. We got smoke for you lot, bro. I got smoke, please. We got smoke, bro. Do not come for smoke. Listen, if we got 1,000 likes, I'll continue with more smoke for them.
Oh,
you know what they say?
No, I don't know what they say.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. Sometimes there's just smoke. And I think that's the case with this guy.
Bear smoke.
Madness.
So yeah, they're obviously going to do the kind of ribbing that they do on the show.
We go outside.
We go inside. We are going to begin. The madness starts now.
And your production is not our production. You get me? I got bare smoke for you lot, bro. You get me? Please. You get me? Please. Our production is big out here. You lot are spreading rumors and lies. Rumors and lies. Rumors and lies. You get me? We go. You get me? We go. You get me? We go. You get me? We go outside. Cats and dogs, just pearly things. Bring back slavery, just pearly things. Women should not vote, just pearly things. We got smoke for you lot, bro.
When you say that, don't say we, just say you. Don't say we, just say you.
You get me?
Don't.
Pick up the vine.
Don't. I ain't got
That's
no
what I said.
smoke for no one.
Listen, if we got 1,000 likes, I'll continue with more smoke.
So right now, what we're covering is when a black person is arguing with a non-black person or has a disagreement, and then a black person jumps in front of that non-black person to defend them, and the history of that, or why that happens and what happens so consistently. And we're using this as a case study. There's a show called The Pearly Things, and another show called Abbott and Preach. I could be wrong, I think. And this is what's happening. So we're just watching a response to this happening.
Oh. Intellectually, though.
You fucking clown.
Forgive the language, of course. We haven't muted it out. Yeah, I'm not going to watch all this, but I get you get the picture, right? They've made and they're going to say this stuff, and I think the final insult was this.
Repetition.
4 seconds.
I know what you're talking about. I know it's what. Put that shit on. That shit.
Hey, listen, real record. So I just want my audience to know people from the UK are way cooler than this guy. Okay,
Well, I'll get the link right there. I'm gonna get the throw link in the group.
One of my favorite radio stations. You know what I mean? There's people from the UK right now watching who didn't even know this video existed. Shame on you.
So what they're gonna compare him to General Levy, and they're gonna start playing General Levy's famous song.
Big up, all original. Yo, this tune here. Yeah. This song, 20 years. We did this tune here 20 years ago, saying.
Good song it is, but I won't play it unless you request. Please play the song, but I think they're using it as intro. But what I'm going to do now is that. So what we've done, if there's any questions, right, I'm throwing in the link in the group. Let me know if you jumped in because I've got so much videos open on small screen, I might miss it, right? But if you want to carry on talking about that, let me know. But if not, we're going to move on to the main topic of today, which is how to protect black children from being abducted, whatever. Which is a very, very, very. It comes from a very, very, very sad video that I'm going to play, but it's Afro Rose campaign. But before we jump on there, we're going to just finish this off and we might come back to it. But yeah, so this topic is the links in the group, by the way, family. The topic is where's my? Let me try to shoot back on there. There it is. So it's let me lay down. It's what motivates black people argue with each other to defend non-black people. And funny enough, there's a picture, if you can see it on the screen, if it ain't too small, might be very small, of I think in the States, Oprah covered it. There was a rally or something where anti-black racists was trying to attack and mistreat black people, and I think they decided to attack him or defend themselves. And then there was a young sister, she was 18 at the time, who jumped in to protect him. So I just use that more as a symbolic kind of representation of this phenomenon of black people really jumping in to defend white people. Also, things you have to remember as well. I think this woman was also when she got on Oprah's show. I think they rewarded her, and this was a similar thing we did not too long ago. Where we're covering, I think, the Trafalgar incident or the Trafalgar Black Lives Matter march or something like this, and I think there was a racist man who was shouting racist abuse, and then amongst black people, and then I think he got thumped up, and then there was a black man who picked him up and got him away from the beating, and then that particular black man was rewarded with deals, shows, trophies, all this kind of stuff, and this is something that we have to see that black people defending non-black people after they've committed a kind of like heinous act towards black people is rewarded. That's something we have to be very aware of, where this turn the other cheek and forgive your enemies is really pushed onto black people, very much so. But you don't necessarily see it in other communities. And that's something we have to be aware of, because we're constantly taught to forgive people who mistreat black people. And also, from a history of being mistreated, you notice that many institutions of European descent, they're like the Queen, the Belgium government, whatever, they don't tend to apologize or mention mass crimes committed against black people. It's very interesting to be aware of. So we want to just connect the dots and just make sure black people are behaving themselves. Now, what we're gonna do now, I've put let me see what the message is. The first time I saw this white lady, Jess Pelfings, was front stage of Sarah Garvey's show called The Black Opinion. When I saw her flashing her white legs on the black males, okay, show trouble. Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm not too sure. It's called The Black Opinion. I'm not, however people run their show, but this is the Black Betterment Broadcast. So this is always going to be black people's opinion on stuff. But yeah, there you go. And that brother's always welcome to jump on here to talk about anything he wants to talk about as it pertains to that. Now, what we're going to do, we're now going to go to a much more serious topic. So let's see if I've got the videos in order. So I'm going to try to hear the story from the family of a young baby that was the authorities tried to take into their custody, and this was actually streaming live on Sister Afro's Instagram page. So let's see if we can just paint a picture here. There's still much more to come up. Let's one more thing before I play it. Sarah Garvey's show is called The Black Opinion. Appears to have died. did just Pearly Things white woman destroy the Black Mirror show to set herself up for success? What's going on? Very good question to ask. Sometimes that might even happen indirectly without people even trying. And that's why I keep saying you have to have a code of conduct. And your code of conduct is black first and try to put back black things forward whenever you can. Because if you ever try to, like, whenever you try to mix and bring others in from other community groups, then it kind of like you can actually give away the energy. But yeah, that's something to be aware of. But let's now hear this the videos we've got in order. Let's go.
Of my nephew and my sister.
Rewind, please.
Everyone, this is an update with what's happening with the unlawful kidnapping of my nephew and my sister at the hands of Milton Keynes Hospital based on maladministration, fraudulent and error.
They kicked down your door?
They've kicked down my front door. They've detained my sister in Brixton Police Station, and they've got my nephew surrounded in a bed in a hospital in London around no members of his family, so we don't know what exactly they're doing, but yet they claim that they have a duty of care for him. We've given the options, and we were prepared to go down the private medical route, and that option was waved away from us as a family. And I repeat again, we didn't ask for the NHS's assistance because the first time there was maladministration, fraudulent error, so we wanted to get a second opinion from a private health care professional.
8 tubes of blood.
Tubes of blood were taken from my nephew.
And they wanted to take.
Oh, is that the whole thing? So that's one. And then this is just after commenting on what she was aware of.
My piece on and I'm driving.
Rewind.
Yes, blessed love. Good morning, people. So, I hope you can hear me. I've got my earpiece on and I'm driving, so I hope you can hear me. We are going live tonight on Instagram at 8 p.m. We're going live on Instagram at 8 p.m. tonight. In fact, let's just make it 9 and be done with it. We're not going to be there for long. We're going to hear from the grandmother and hopefully the auntie of the baby that's been stolen by Milton Keynes Social Services. Look into the case. I've got a couple of posts up here on Instagram, also on Facebook. I'm not sure about YouTube, but I think I'll upload something. This is a national outrage, people. We are all parents. We are all mothers, grandmothers, whatever we are, grandfathers, fathers. There is no way that we can allow for black babies to be treated like this. Melanated babies to be treated like this. This baby has been stolen by Milton Keynes Social Services for no reason whatsoever. So we're going to go viral. Sorry, we're going to go live. And we're going to hopefully send this lady's post viral because it needs to happen. We are also holding a demonstration on Sunday, which I think is the 11th, this Sunday at 12 p.m. at St. George's Hospital in Tooting. Please check at Afro Road 69 for all the updates. We cannot allow this to happen. We have to put boots on the ground. This is an outrage. And today your child, tomorrow mine. At the end of the day, this child was not known to social services prior to this. Her mother, his mother, took him to a hospital because he had a cold, and this has all unfolded from there. They're now trying to get the second child up to Milton Keynes for a full skeletal examination. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for it, and they keep taking vials of blood and pints of blood out of these children's bodies. You know, and they're attempting to say that because mum was breastfeeding and laughing and crying at the same time, probably laughing at the joy of seeing her son and crying because of the situation, they're now trying to say sister is psychotic. There's so much underhanded stuff going on, my people, and I know that she's not the only one. There's been many sisters that have fallen on this, many sisters whose children have been taken under false pretenses, and we want to know what's going on. So join me tonight on Instagram, not YouTube, Instagram. We're going to do an Instagram live tonight at 9 p.m.
So that was just Afro highlighting some of the challenges that was going on and trying to rally people behind them. It is on Sunday 12, so we can get as much information as possible. But welcome to the show, brother Cal. Welcome to the show.
Welcome, brother Raven, man. Welcome, brother. Big up, King. Big up.
Thank you. So yeah, we're just covering this unfortunate situation that's happening. So I'm going to play some videos and let's see if we can just get more of it. So that was Sister Afro explaining about the rally she was getting together and the incident. And now I think this might be, is this the right order? I think I've got two or more of this. Hold on.
I'm just waiting for the family to join us.
So this is where
we're here to talk about the missing baby. Missing babies, I think, as we speak, to be fair. But yes, blessed love, everybody. Blessed love, Dee Dee. Okay, we're filling up fast. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what is happening. So I know that baby's aunt and baby's grandmother are going to jump on and tell us exactly what's been happening with this baby. I am so gobsmacked, much less the family. And, you know, I just cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Jump on as soon as you can, Dee Dee. And hopefully, Liz, you're here as well. I know you will be. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable what is happening. So I'm not going to tell the story. Family members are going to come on and tell us. For those of you that did not hear the YouTube live on Friday, the regular Afro Speaks Community Conversations live. For those of you that did not hear it, okay, here we are.
Let me skip to when they come on. Hold on. There we go. Here's the sister now. There. I'm going to say there. There we go.
Hey, Dee Dee.
Hi.
So I believe this is the sister of the lady who's they are trying to take her child away.
Hi, sis.
Hey, how you doing, sis? Oh, we've got so many people that want to come on live, actually. Right, so you guys, I will accept you guys. Let's just hear from you for the time being. If you can bring us up to speed. Yes, Pepper Skull, done. Yeah, man, we'll catch back up, bro. So for everyone for all those that did not hear the YouTube live on Friday, see me, hold on, let me do. For all those that did YouTube live on Friday, when the baby's grandmother came on to explain to us what's been going on, this is actually the baby that was originally taken, 5-month-old baby. This is his auntie, his maternal auntie, the mother of the baby's sister. So if you can just take us back a little bit to where this started, sis. For those that some people don't know what's happening, and we really need at 10 o'clock, people. I want all of you to go back and do it while watching.
This is the live now.
You just might do it when you watch it.
Okay, well, this is. I think let's see if we can get to when to speak. Because there we go. I think when she's sitting down, she might speak. So this is better. Hold on.
So tell us what.
Now, forgive us. There's a baby in the background, so let's see what we can hear.
I know you've got the little ones. It's difficult, isn't it?
So,
quick synopsis, sis. If you can just give us an overview, yeah.
So on the 26th of November, police attended my sister's address in Milton Keynes, which is where I was at the time, because there were several police officers in her home looking for my sister, and we went to go and find my sister and find out what was going on, because we heard what had transpired in the hospital, and what we were planning to do is go and get a second opinion as a family. In that stance,
I'm still here with you, sis.
It's all right. In that stance, at about 6 o'clock in the morning, my door was kicked off. My partner was put in handcuffs and flung to the floor, manhandled, and they basically kidnapped my sister and my nephew, saying that he's going to die. He's at risk of going into cardiac arrest based on his low calcium levels. But sorry, let me retract back. Sorry, I'm going to start from the beginning. My nephew had a congested nose, and he was stifling to breathe, basically, because he had thick mucus on his chest and inside his nose. So my sister obviously done the due care at home, gave him Calpol, tried to clear his throat, even, you know, removed the mucus from his nose herself. But it wasn't enough. So she took him to the hospital with the concerns. So she took him to the hospital on 2 occasions. Okay, and the first time he was discharged, They just gave her nasal spray and said, he's fine, he's just got a viral infection, it's going around. And they gave her nasal spray and then discharged him from the hospital back to home care. Obviously, the nasal spray wasn't working, so he couldn't really be lied on his back because the amount of mucus that was on his chest. So he was struggling, like stifling, so to speak, even though she was using the saline fluid. But because he had so much thick mucus on his chest, she said, look, I'm concerned. She even called me. And this is the bit I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. She called me and said, sis, he still doesn't seem, as a concerned mother would. And she took him back to the hospital. When she took him back to the hospital, sorry, this is hard for me to do.
Oh, okay.
Had to take more bloods. And they basically took more than 8 times, took blood from him more than 8 times. He was 5 months at the time because he's just turned 6 months. So they took 8 tubes of blood. Right, this is where we lost count, using adult needles and adult tubes to the point.
Oh, I think this is when
he supposedly had low iron and calcium. So I don't know what warranted taking that much blood from a small 5-year-old baby, especially using adult needles. Okay. This was after, because when my sister took him to for the second time, she left the hospital because obviously it was just based on the viral flu. And then they called her back. A consultant phoned her back at 10 o'clock at night saying, you need to come back because the bloods that we previously took showed that he's low on calcium deficiency. He's calcium deficient and got low vitamin D, and he's at risk of having seizures and a cardiac arrest. So Denise took him back to the hospital, and bearing in mind she was asking for the paperwork and asking for things to be explained in detail, they failed to do this. On multiple accounts, they failed to do this. They basically said he needs to be sedated and be given vitamin D supplements as a matter of urgency.
Right.
Let's forget the language there. I think that's shared from streaming. Now we're going to move to when the police came to the house. They streamed it. All right.
The camera, please.
It's on a minute or so.
Where is your papers sealed?
The judge granted the order at 5:45.
What's the judge's
Where
name?
is your paper
What's the
sealed?
judge's name?
The judge granted the order.
What's the judge's name?
We haven't physically got Judge Lynch. We haven't physically got the paperwork.
So you're here asking us to hand over a child with no paperwork?
Bring your paperwork, please.
Please. Ask the judge, urge the judge to provide the paperwork.
Urge the judge.
If that's the ruling is made.
Listen, can I just say something? One sec, Liz. One sec, please, Liz. Carla.
It's not me. We're asking a legitimate question. Why does she not have the paperwork?
Can you let me talk, please?
This is live. You're the one that's got her on the phone.
This is live.
If you want to be talking yourself, you probably shouldn't take...
Excuse me, sir.
People on the phone that are also...
No, there's hundreds of people on the phone watching this. There's hundreds.
There's 7,000
and there's now
people
1,000 people now.
That doesn't help, though,
right?
7,000 people are watching this.
Now this one for a few hours. This is just what I got left of it, and then this was just the final bit.
I'm telling you.
This was after the fact when Sister Afua was speaking and the police left, and this was how they were feeling.
What's that? I'm so proud of you, darling. I'm telling you, you kept so strong. You've been the voice while I've not been down there. But thank you so much, darling. That's your sister, and we are family united. Afia, I thank you so much. I've been trying to hold back these tears for days. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in and witnessing this kidnap that they tried.
We're going to stand strong, and it's not over, but we're going to stand strong.
Tonight, you guys have won the battle.
that you haven't quite won the war.
Yeah.
And you've got to step it up now. I'm really gonna. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but I might try and bring the march forward to Saturday.
Yeah.
Instead of Friday. It might be a better idea because I just feel like we don't have that time.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the videos you have there. Anyone? I've pushed the link in the group. I haven't tagged it. Well, not tagged it. I haven't pinned it. So maybe I should just log in and try to pin it. But that's what. So let me go back to the so yeah, unfortunately, that's very sad. That is very sad, and obviously, we want to obviously offer our support and help as best we can. Let me add the brother. I think he left. Yeah, but so that's what Sister Afro was dealing with at the moment. That's and we're trying to spread awareness of this particular case. But yeah, so this is actually how do we protect black babies from being abducted? I guess that's where that kind of title came from. So I guess we can now let the show begin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to log in and pin this. So if you're looking, feel free to ask questions or jump in at the side. But what the videos I saw, there was one thing you always want to do, and it's the hardest thing to do when you're dealing with the police, or you're dealing with family and loved ones, is you got to try to remain calm. And it's hard, and you want to maybe nominate someone to be the speaker, and you know you want to be as calm as possible, and you don't agitate the situation. But it's very hard because obviously you have family involved, and you know it's an emotional time. So definitely want to try to make sure you let the person who's most in control. And I think that's why they wanted to have Sister Afro there, who could be more like the voice of reason, who wasn't directly connected to the family from an emotional standpoint. But nevertheless, it is an emotional situation. So yeah, these are things to do. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, always use an independent black social worker. Number 2. Yeah, so the situation was, I'm not too sure, but there was some women who turned outside asking for the child, and didn't have any kind of like paperwork or anything like that. And obviously, I'm still trying to find out more about the case, but it seemed very peculiar. And I don't think they suspected that the family would try to, first of all, stream things live in front of hundreds of people, and have other members there. And yeah, I think that was probably what has bought them some time. And I think Sister Afro said the rallies on. Let me see if she said it in one of these videos. Hold on.
Blessed love, my people. On Instagram, also on Facebook. I'm not sure about YouTube, but I think I'll upload something. This is a national outrage, people. We are all parents. We are all mothers, grandmothers, whatever we are, grandfathers, fathers. There is no way we can allow for black babies to be treated like this. Melanated babies to be treated like this. This baby has been stolen by Milton Keynes Social Services for no reason whatsoever. So we're going to go viral. Sorry, we're going to go live, and we're going to hopefully send this lady's post viral because it needs to happen. We are also holding a demonstration on Sunday.
So Sunday demonstration, where is it?
Which I think is the 11th, this Sunday.
Yep.
At 12 p.m. at St. George's Hospital in Tooting. Please.
So St. George's Hospital in Tooting at 12 is the rally point.
Check at Afro Rose 69 for all the updates. We cannot allow this to happen.
On Instagram, Afro. Say it one more time because my memory's not as good as it used to be.
Check at Afro Rose 69.
At Afro Rose 69. That's on Instagram. So definitely follow the sister there, and so you can keep up to date with the stuff. But yeah, so family, any feelings on the topics? By all means, now we unpack and we try to talk. So now is the people's opportunities to speak. Now there's these two, obviously the abduction topic is a very very strong one, very strong one, and it's it's something that we want to have support with, and something to look out for. I always have support for the children's father to fight for them if we as women are under attack by the system. Yes, we always want to have. Yeah, that's right. Sure, that right. But yeah, very sad moments. Very sad moments there. Now let me go back to the thing. So while while we wait for anyone who jumps in, what have we got on my document? Have I updated the document at all? No. This was. I think I did it. What? Yes. There we go. If we don't share this to events and stories of men and women, the UK has racists and these infiltrate the child services. Right. Yeah. So that's another thing. Like, unfortunately, you're gonna have many people who get into positions of power who might actually dislike black people, and the neglect or the overforce of certain situations is something that we can see. So we need awareness. Well, that's why we keep saying black people need to come together, form institutions and ideas of how best to protect black people from such things. I go out to YouTube, not YouTube, but to debates, clubhouses, and meet new people. We try to have constructive debates, um, and sometimes, when we talk about black people, you always get the who are black people, which is we tend to ignore that, but we have a definition of black people. But sometimes some people say, "Oh, don't use the term black, use the term African." So what we say is, uh, we have a synonym star every time we write the word black. And that synonym star there, if you can see on the screen, it represents all these names. So these are the names that people push forward when it comes to historically in there, and we can add more. So this also is those other names. There was another gentleman who said we should be called Nubian. Some said Moorish. Some even said go back to being Negro. But we're saying that regardless of whatever you want to call a collective group, we're talking about creating a lifestyle that automatically trains our families to look out for each other and family, friends, and community to look out for each other. Very important. Because if we don't, you might think that's all mag, but unfortunately, you will find that many black people, aka Black Moors, aka Africans, aka Aboriginals, aka Al-Kibulandians, aka Ethiopians with an A, aka Israelites, indigenous to color, the Negro, a Nubian, a Moorish, whatever name you call. Unfortunately, if we're not trying to make a difference won't be made. That's right. And what will happen is you'll find that there'll be non-black people who will be around you and maybe even incentivize you to do things that's not in your collective best interest. So you definitely want to observe other communities how they progress. I try to implement similar ways for us because unfortunately I don't think betterment is integrated in our culture. You see, and that's probably why we have issues where our children, can be taken much more easier than others, and this kind of stuff, right? Something to be aware of. And what's that? I was trying to Google what that is. What? Now, there's a link there. If anyone wishes to jump in to talk about anything, but there's a request from the sister to talk about. Is that Gata photo? Am I reading that right? Am I missing something? Because when I Google that's a dish, so I must be missing it, right? Or am I wrong? Maybe I'm not aware, but when I've Googled that word, it looks to be a dish, but clearly I've missed something. That's from Sister Lady Divine. I'm getting a picture of a dish, some kind of recipe. Okay, I would like to hear you speak on that if you can. Maybe am I spelling it wrong? I don't think I am. But I've typed in Gatto photo and that's what I'm getting. Maybe I'm clearly missing something. Yeah, so like I said, we talk about anything on here. It's always constructive about black people progressing and stuff. But let me know. The links in the group. I'm going to.
It would be good, Brother Raven, if we could make, the hate crime, racism of black people, to make it a crime. Like the 1965 racial discrimination. We need to collectively have that. Make it a hate crime.
Oh, so yeah. So if you openly hate, you put it as a hate crime. Oh, welcome, Sister Sankova Rising. Welcome back.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings, panel. Greetings, Brother Raven. Brother Kel.
Big up, sis.
I don't know how much you caught, sis, but this week we're covering two topics, and that is how to protect black babies from being abducted. And this comes from my sister Afua. She's
Even though I clicked on, I was thinking, I don't know if I should for my blood pressure, to be honest.
Yeah, it's quite.
Everyone should, boy. But
It
yeah,
is
go
quite
on.
triggering. It is quite triggering, and it is obviously sad. And definitely, regardless of how we feel, we definitely want to create a support system for when these things go on. And we have to always give praise to Sister Afro for always trying to be in the front line of the thick of issues that come in. And she does put herself up to this, and we always thank her for it. We're still finding out more information about the actual particular case, but what was good is they filmed it, and we saw certain behavior patterns from the authorities that seem very unbecoming, very peculiar, and I think they thought it might just be an easy kind of thing to just go pick up someone's child and take them away. I'm not too sure, but yeah, isn't very good. But that is a quite deep topic there that some people they might not want to speak on. And a more easier topic maybe is what motivates Black people arguing with each other to defend non-Black people. And that comes from us watching some show where there was a gentleman, 2 Black men in Canada, I think, who were not best pleased for a European white woman from America who was based in the UK, who has lots of Black people on the show. And she said some things about women and their rights. I don't think the men agreed, and that they probably took a shot at her. Or maybe this, not really a shot, but they were very critical of her. And there was Black men who appeared on the show who then said they want to have smoke with the Black men in Canada. And this triggers what we're saying in the sense of Black men who will jump in front of non-Black people to battle other Black men. This kind of phenomenon.
Mm.
And what triggers it, and what is to be done about it, and has anyone else observed it? Maybe we're just making them out of the molehill. I don't know. It's something I see a lot when I go Speaker's Corner.
Mm.
So yeah, that's the 2 topics.
Well, like you said, the first one is a big one. Obviously you give credit to Sister Afua for using her platform and her connections and networks to support the family. So we give thanks and praises for that. But more importantly, I give thanks and praises to the family and the sister in particular. This because I've been following it a little bit, well, mainly from yesterday, to be honest. Not the actual mother whose children has been stolen, but her sister who's been somewhat, had to keep a level for her sister, hold a space and be able to deliver the information, on social media. And the sister herself, to be honest with you, the video where she's breaking down from the most of the little video, well, not little, but most of the videos I've seen, that's her only time of open distress. For the most part, she's kept it together as well and been very clear in her language and how she's speaking. So, and they look like they have a very supportive father and all them things there. So, as a family, I would rise them up, and I say that to say, what's happening to them is normal. This is not an isolated case. Because unfortunately, we don't realize that we've been at war. We've been at war. Yeah? These things are normal. When I used to do sister circles and when I used to start doing my sister circles and it started picking up pace in terms of, sisters telling their sisterings about it or whatever. And because, I signpost as well, I can't help everybody with nothing, if you get what I'm saying. So, but I know there's so many different services that we provide in the community, and the amount of sisters that had some kind of illegal behavior being done unto them by social services of trying to remove their children from their homes, or some of them go to school and they're put in a day again because of, and obviously there's, every story is different. And different things lead to it. But 99% of the time, the level of aggression that social services move with to take away Black children and Black African children that are not at risk more time. That's what the bigger killer is, because we've seen the cases where children have gone in and out of a doctor's surgery, been seen by 700 social workers, and that child ends up thoroughly abused. We know the cases of Victoria Climby that end up dead. Yeah? That's social services. I grew up with people. The house was full of abuse. When you're young, you don't know no better. But when you get old, you're like, raw. My man's house was a full alcoholic house. It was a drug den. Yeah? Social services has been all up and in them yards. No picnic gone yet. A lot of the time, it's like they're targeting certain parents. Worse is still if you have a certain level knowledge of self, and you move in a particular way, but you're still in the system in a particular way as well. And I say that in a sense of, we still send our children to school, but you might be strict on, certain principles of how you feed your children, little things, something as simple as vaccinations.
Yes.
Something as simple as I don't want my child to be vaccinated because it is your right. Yeah. Depending on, again, however they assess you. Yeah. They would nicely send social services for you for just that, depending on how they see you. So this is not a new thing. That's why I say I rise up the family, because it takes a lot to put yourself out there like that and be consistent to make people know, no. Organizing is the only way. Organizing is the only way.
That's right. That's right.
There is no other way.
Organize.
That's right.
There is no cut corner. There is no, if I just be quiet and nobody won't notice me, because it's just be quiet and nobody don't notice me is how they took your pitney. Not these people in particular, but I'm saying in a general sense, because they know they can. Because they know they can.
Yeah.
An organized community, we have to move differently. For the fact that they can come strong with them numbers outside somebody's house at 1:00 in the morning, because they end up taking that little girl, That's not the last one. They came back at 2:00 in the morning and took this woman's child.
Yeah, because are you aware of how many children have been taken?
She's got 2 children. So the baby they took first, under false pretense, because all this vitamin D. You are not black in the West. Worse are still in a Britain, and don't suffer vitamin D deficiency at some point in your life. My daughter had full rickets. And when I found out what that was, this is when she was about 1 or something. When I found out what that was, and I researched it and all that. Listen, we was living outside. Do you hear me? We was eating every piece of green situation there was, and we lived outside. Luckily, I had a park outside my house. So, yeah. And I raised up them levels, and then I got to know about CMOS and all them thing there. She's been good to go since. But this is normal. Vitamin deficiency ain't nothing exciting. So worse is still, if you're 2nd, 3rd generation to this country, you're probably going to have it. Most black women have to take vitamin D through their pregnancy to up their levels and their iron. So this is no reason to be taking people's children, as they well know. So the fact that they can come there and still come with no paperwork and all of that, because they didn't expect the family to respond that way. It's so easy for them to steal our children. When they get fight like that, it's like, what? That's what's taking them aback.
Yeah,
they have to dig their heels in. Yeah. They have to dig their heels in a little bit, because now you have to try to justify the level of wickedness that's now being blasted all over the internet streets. But that's what they're not expecting. And the more organized this particular case is becoming, look, there's going to be a protest. Like I said, social media is doing its thing and all that. That's the reason why something, hopefully, very soon, in a quickness, will change for that family. But there's enough people out there ain't seen their children since when? But when people can break the law on this level, because people, when I've been, you read some of the comments or you're talking to some people, and they're like, oh, but the safeguarding and this and that. This is because we don't realize we're at war. Babylon makes up nonsense, jargon, terminology. They don't care about it. They don't care about it. Safeguarding is a new phenomenon. Every law that you see that sees 19 something, they're not serious about nothing. Yeah. Safeguarding where every law that they have created broke in that one piece of video. The police officer should have looked at the social worker and said, "Where am I going without your court papers? Where am I going?
Yeah.
If we're following law." Which court in the history of the land is is producing those orders at them type of night time? Where?
Yeah, but the system's scared if we were to collectively stand up against that. If there was if the sister could like contact a bit of the community, you know what I mean, the police would back off. I've seen this in the riots.
But it's slowly happening. That's what I'm saying. I think something will change for her soon because noise is being made. Noise is coming. Noise is getting louder. So once depending on how many people find themselves outside that protest on Sunday, and I really, really, really want to be there, but I got past engagements. So I'm going to see if I can leave early. But that protest by itself, depending on how many people turn up, that's going to be a noise. Social media is a noise. How it hasn't found a news reporter yet? They're just nervous to put it out there because it's making a noise. But that's what I'm saying. We're not organized. Only organization is going to save us from these type of things. Only organization. There is no other. There is no other do for self philosophy that's going to get us outside of that. And we have to recognize that. We have to recognize that. We cannot keep looking for humanity. The baby is still being breastfed. The baby is still being breastfed. So in one side of their mouth, they're going to tell you breast is best and blah, 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 and the mother and the bond and blah, blah, blah. No, what do they care? If the child is sick, yeah, science tells you breast milk is the best milk, you know, when your child is sick. You breastfeed consistently, on demand, worse still. So now when this child is coming to be sick because they're coming to give this child whatever bottle milk that this child hasn't been having, now what? So they have absolutely no regard. And we have to recognize how vulnerable we are when we're not organized. We have to realize how vulnerable we are when we're not coming together to strategize for our betterment. This is a clear example of that. Everything is a clear example, but we look at them as isolated cases, or they're separate, or they're not one and the same, because it might come in the form of, you know, what quote unquote knife crime and all kinds of nonsense. Everything is all part of the same thing. Organizing will solve all problems. It's just that organizing revolves around, to organize, we must work. And that's what we need to get our heads around. That's what we need to get our heads around, to work for our freedom, to work for our peace of mind, to work for our defense.
Yeah, no, this is what was good about this is obviously Sister Afro has created the identity and network, and then by the information we pushed her, she pushed it, and other people can pick up, and that's what it's really about, like just having a network. So awareness is your first starting point. And I do feel that had the family not been there, there'd be less of awareness. Who knows how it would have ended up, right?
There'll be nothing. We won't be hearing nothing. We don't know when they'll get their children. We don't know when she'll get her children back. Like I said, I'm hoping she's going to get her children back sooner than later. If there was no noise, Judge only knows. Judge only knows, boy. And it's that kind of serious. And it's not just to learn the lessons from this. It's not just about, we have to know how we invest in our liberation as well. Because we have plenty social worker, you know. There's a whole heap of African social worker. And they see some things. And some of us, unfortunately, are not all working for us, because I've dealt with a few. Social services have never been in my life as well, by the way, giving thanks and praises. But I'm saying that I've still dealt with a few in terms of supporting other people. But we have to be able to understand that social work in a Western framework don't work for us, but we need that type of system to help support us as we stand today. And we need to be able to invest in that. So we need our own social welfare system, our own social care system, but we have to be able to invest in that. So if we're going to pull out certain professionals, we have to know how we're going to invest in that. They have to know that they have to make a level of sacrifice for the betterment for our community, because a whole heap of social worker pitney in social services as well, yeah? Don't think social workers, because they're social workers, they have a different level of parenting skills. Absolutely not. Yeah, I know a whole heap of social workers, their children are in PRUs and in care themselves, and it's a mess. But I'm saying that we have to be able to invest in our liberation as well. We have to be able to pay for the services that we need. So because it's these type of fights, look, this woman, police are coming to this woman's house at 2 o'clock in the morning, all types of unsociable hours. We want people on call. That's a system that we're having to create, and we have to know how we're going to support that system. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it's one thing that people are going to say, and I say this to say, because I've seen things burn out quickly. When it's high like this, the momentum is there. Yeah. But people burn out quickly. And if there's no, if we're not creating a structure, some type of economic system to be able to compensate, we're going to struggle.
Gata Lodge or Luke, if you want to join the live, it's saying that the device you're using has no form of microphone or cam that can be turned on. So whatever technology you've used to join, you won't be able to speak if you don't either turn it on or connect it or use a different device. So family, the links in the actual group. Come and join the topic today. Come and join the family, and let's see if we can discuss what's going on. I'm going to push the link in again, and that is how do we protect black babies from being abducted? And
what do you think of this?
Go ahead.
Oh, go on.
No, go on.
Yeah. So the question: how to protect black babies from being abducted? So I think the strategy I often hear is that you must mount resistance against the authorities coming and taking your children. So there's a lot of people do not believe it's a system of white supremacy, and so therefore they believe that the children that they have are their children. But the state does not see it that way. The state is the greater parent, as it were. So that's why they feel they have the right, as in might, as in power, to come into your house at any time of night or any time of the day and take the children, because the state sees it as their responsibility to make sure the children in their society are being looked after. And so the only resistance I'm hearing so far is that people will say, well, they didn't have the correct paperwork, so the children should not be taken unless the correct procedure has been followed, and so therefore there should be some resistance. So the idea of the state not following the correct procedure is not a good enough plan to counter this kind of behavior, because all it is, they'll just refine the system. I believe the solution is that, as the sister was saying, organization, but we have to discuss what form of organization? So yes, we agree. I think we all agree it's about organization, but organization on what basis and with what strategy? So I would say, this is my view. My view would be to an organization that is focused on showing that the system is not tailored to suit black people, so it's racial. So now that kicks it off, and they'll say, "Oh, we're not racist. We're not racist. It's nothing to do with race. The child is not, so we've got to take the child." But if you push the racial angle and the ethnicity angle, then you have rights to set up an alternative organization and say, okay, the money that's allocated, that's allocated for this kind of service is not being used at the best to service black people. Therefore, that money that's been allocated, we want to take it and use it for building our organizations, our organizations. And then if the child, if it's reported that the child is not being treated well or is not eating well, then we would like to use our alternative social services that is tailored to suit our community. So that's the only angle I can see. When you organize as an alternative entity to serve the community. I don't know if that makes sense.
Absolutely. And it's exactly that. It's exactly that on every level of people activity. You see Nation of Islam, Minister Farrakhan don't go to no hospital, because them raise and train for them doctor and them surgeon and them anesthetist and all them thing there. Right. Yeah. And that's it. So we make sure every area, whether it's the clothes on our backs, policing our streets, like I said, our own social services, culturally sensitive, because we're dealing with each other. We know what trauma that we need to heal. We know we know how we're trying to move our community forward for the betterment. But all of these things, obviously we're not coming to be hashing out the nitty gritty online. But once we get to once we first understand we're at war, let's first start there, and where we understand it's a race first and nothing else. We're already on the right track. After that, we do in this small print, and we're organizing ourselves sufficiently, because everyone can't do everything. Do you understand? So we create our departments and so forth and so forth. But it's absolutely everything you're saying.
Okay, what's
the original black print is the UNIA, but yeah, 100%. I just want to say as well, sorry, Elder, the brother got a photo. This father, bad mother, good mother, that's not this conversation, yeah? Because they take children from black fathers as well. Whether you're a good parent, bad parent, Babylon don't care about that. Yeah,
that's right.
That's not what they're looking at.
Yeah,
that's not at this conversation today.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's what and that's the problem here. We ain't got to. What is that? The children are gone. So you see the same man. If the father of her children is outstanding and she's absolutely worthless, his children are still gone. His children are still gone.
That's right.
So that's the conversation.
Welcome, Lady Divine, to the panel. Welcome.
Whoop, 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 whoop. Big up,
peace and African power. Big up, family. Big up, big up.
Big up.
Big up. Listen, this story touches my heart. I spoke about it last night on another show, and I'm glad to see that it's still, people are still bringing it to the front, like what is going on. For us women, and I know Sankofa can speak for this, we hear these stories every every single day. This is happening up and down across the country. And it's I don't think people recognize the attack that's happening not only to the black woman, but this Pacific attack is definitely aimed at the black woman. Pacific, from the time you go and give birth to your pitney in the NHS, yeah, it's game over. They're observing you from in there. They're observing how you give birth. They're taking all kind of blood tests if you smoke or if you don't smoke, and they use all of these things as ammunition. So however many days you leave from that hospital to whenever time they decide that they're just gonna drop unwillingly a child protection order or whatever that you're unaware of, oh yeah, you're at war. And I need brothers more so to understand that this is something that is definitely happening. I don't think they recognize this is something that happens, because many sisters are so embarrassed by it, they don't come out, they don't speak about it, they don't make noise like how this sister's making noise, and I'm glad she is. Finally someone is. People are not recognizing how often this is happening and how frequently children are not only being removed from the homes, they're being removed. You go and pick up your pitney then from school, pitney there, no pitney there. You wonder what happened. These times they've already questioned up these kids in the schools, removed them, placed them in all kind of alternative care. You're unaware of all of this. You don't know none of this until you get either to the school or until police show up at your door. So I'm glad that you lot are talking about it, and I want to listen to what you lot got to say.
And let me say as well, what you're saying in terms of the fathers or whatever, but what I always say from day dot, if we're going to say, how do we try to protect ourselves from this second, this moment? Yeah. I always say, when our people are in vulnerable spaces, school, hospital, prison, detention center, mental institute, whatever it may be, hospice, home, we must show presence.
Yes,
if you don't have your family, find your brethren them. Anybody you can find, you must have presence. Because if you don't walk with your people, them, yeah, they think that you don't have nobody, and then they treat you any old how. I've seen it time and time again. So when I've got a sister who's pregnant and she's in hospital, she don't have nobody. Yeah, I'm there. Bully. Yeah, me dead there. And I know how to talk. I know how to soften up my voice. And yeah, she hasn't been seen for 20 minutes. Yeah, she called a nurse 25 minutes ago. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that I want to highlight that they do as well, when they can't get you or they can't find a good avenue to get you at, maybe the kids are too old. Remember, it's a certain age group as well they aim to target, from newborns, I think it's 7 years old, because after that it's harder to find them placements and carers and stuff. So they tend to go while they're younger. And another thing, what was it I want to say? Yeah, there was another bit that they go and do as well. And they try to, if they can't get you that way, they get you through the ADHD, all these other new labels that they're coming out with, autism avenue. And they will say that you can't manage, you're struggling as a single pick. They use all of these little things. So yeah, I'm glad it's coming to the forefront of the little dirty tactics that these people use to remove black children from black homes and do whatever they're doing. It's crazy.
So what you mentioned the Nation of Islam and how they appear to be tackling this problem quite well. So would you then promote the Nation of Islam, that for black people to get out of this problem, they should all join the Nation of Islam, or what?
I'm not a member of the Nation of Islam because I'm an African spiritualist. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
However, there's nothing that the Nation of, but I'm a nationalist Pan-Africanist as well. So I will work with Nation of Islam, as Nation of Islam will work with me, because we are race first. So what happens in the house now? Right. When you're on the compound, then let's say, forget the yard. When you're on the compound and there's a whole heap of different yards, that's cool. But we're already in the compound. So if you want to do Nation over there, all right. African spiritualists over there, okay. The Christian over there, oh, everyone do what they're doing, innit? But we're raised first. Yeah? We know that the enemy is outside.
is that good enough a form of organization? Because you're mentioning organizations. So there are African spiritualists, there are, as you said, Nation of Islam. So there are a number of different organizations. So what if I was to say to you, well, black people are organized. We're just organized in different camps. What would you say to that?
We still don't. Organizing is not. If we know the enemy has infrastructure and we do not, we are organized to a point. Nation of Islam is organized to a point that protects nation. In a sense, you are a member of the Nation of Islam. You're good to go. Do you understand? You are second affiliated with them as well. You are good to go. But
okay,
they are still a certain amount of people. Do you understand?
So if they're good to go, that means you must increase the number of Nation of Islam, correct? Because you said they're good to go.
I say they're good to go. I think they're good to go.
Okay. So therefore, if you increase the number of members of the Nation of Islam, the larger the number of the Nation of Islam, the less problem there'll be.
My politics is African spirituality. And like I said, I'm a Pan-African. So there is still politics that is different. But to be race first, even though I am saying they're good to go for how they develop and what is their fight. Yeah?
Right.
At the same time, we're talking about infrastructure.
Yeah, but the Nation of Islam have that infrastructure, you're saying?
They have a certain level of infrastructure that can still only do so much to a certain degree.
Have you ever? I've never heard of Nation of Islam children being taken away. I've never heard anything like that.
What, in Nation of Islam?
Yeah, I've never heard Nation of Islam people saying that they're.
We're talking. Remember, I'm talking about Nation of Islam as an organization. Nation of Islam is even a global organization. But
that's right.
How Nation of Islam is in their head office branch is different to how they are in Trinidad. Is different to the infrastructure in Ghana. Is different to the infrastructure in this country. Do you understand? So
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Worldwide, I never have heard of the Nation of Islam women complaining that their children have been taken away. Nowhere in the world. I've never heard that.
You might not have heard that. No, do you know why you might not have heard that? Because they have been able to develop a certain level where they might have better legal representation. Because I'm telling you factually, it doesn't matter whether you're in the Nation of Islam. No one don't live on one compound. Because even if you're in the Nation of Islam, we are still in Babylon. Do you understand? So I'm saying that we still are at war. Some people are still susceptible to the trappings of this country or this Western world. So yes, Nation of Islam children are being taken. Is it going to be public news? How is that possible? And we just said it's an epidemic. Our children are being snatched left, right, and center. Nobody is exempt. So of course, one member at the very least in Nation of Islam, their children have been taken. Of course. But I'm saying,
are you sure of that?
Of course. Nation of Islam is not 12 people. Of course. Every organization I've spoken about has had some kind of negative interaction where we are billions. That we have to think logically. You understand? So I'm saying even in our one family, everybody knows somebody who's touched by some kind of social services, jail, So Nation of Islam are still African people living an African experience. So they're not exempt from nothing. They're just a bit more protected than most.
Okay. Interesting.
So I'm saying that in terms of, oh, well, we should just all join. No. Let's first start with race first. Let's start there. Because when we come and talk about, oh, other people's politics and, well, I believe in this and I believe, that's a different conversation. Let's first start with race first. That's the enemy. Let's first start there. When we can get that right, we can have a different conversation. I want to start there, 101, because we don't realize the power in that one piece of 101, you know.
That's right. That's right.
In that one piece of 101, overnight, the behavior is different. We're not. We listen.
So are you saying then that the people, those women that are losing their children, that they're refusing to recognize and see themselves as black, and as a result, they have no collective support? Is it because they're refusing to identify?
No, Ice-Free. What you're getting it wrong. What it's not that they're refusing to see themselves or recognize themselves as black or whatever first. It's that they don't acknowledge the attack upon the black family. That's the bit you need to get. They're not realizing that this is literally a war we're in, and until it's acknowledged that a war has been declared upon us, and we need to get ourselves together, organize ourselves to the fact that we can defend ourselves in this war, we're going to keep being in this position. That's what this is saying.
Okay, so watch this then, based on what you just said there. Right, so I imagine now I see that there's some other black women and children in my block of flats where I'm staying. So how do you vision? Do you think I should go meet those women and say, do you recognize yourself as black? They say, oh, of course I am. I say, okay. Do you recognize that we are at war?
They will probably look at you like you're crazy.
Exactly.
What war?
You know what I mean? So let's think this through. Let's talk this through. Because now, if I make that statement to that black woman with a child, we are at war. All right. Then she's gonna say, oh, right, to say what you're thinking, what you just said. And then she's going to go and tell her friends that there's this black guy who's saying that we're at war. And then not only that, she's going to probably tell her white neighbor that there's this black guy in the flat. He's saying that we're at war. I mean, come on, you know, racism is a lot better than it was in the 60s. Things are a lot better. You know, it's progress. See, so what kind of language are you thinking should be passed in this conversation, in raising awareness? What you thinking? What you're thinking?
This channel and channels like this is part of that language. Yeah, everybody. When I come into my knowledge of self, I wasn't. Well, you do have a little time of excitement. You're screaming at everybody, "Where's Babylon? Burn it down!" And then you calm down a little piece.
That's right.
But I'm saying that, you know, no, you don't just be, yeah, right, well, I do certain times, but you know your audience. But the point I'm making is it's education. It's a process. Yeah. We've gone through a ma'afa. We are in the ma'afa. Yeah. We are we are a powerful people because we are here the way we are here. However, in that small time in our history, we have gone through the most inhumane experience known to man. Till this literal second I am speaking. So this is not we're at war, and the person says, oh yeah, I'll give thanks, I didn't know that. And then that's not how it works.
No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
Okay, so how does it work then? Come on, tell me how it works.
The same way it took to you to get to have the understanding that you have, the same process that it took, the same amount of time and nurturing and going over and whatever different things you went through and did to get to develop the understanding that you have. Everybody's journey is that. But we have to find our way to help speak to our audience, who speaks our language, who understands what we're saying. And the person who's seeking that knowledge and their ears are starting to open, they'll be like, oh, what's that going on over there? Because they're looking, they're searching. Anything can trigger somebody. But my urgency is that I want us to get there quicker.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Just education.
I want us to get there quicker because of how, just how we're living. Yeah. But at the same time, even though even in my impatient conversation, I recognize why we are the way we are. I recognize why we are here in this way. But at the same time, because I do the work I do, I see the work, I see the growing, I see the energy, I see a new vibration. I see the linking up. I see building. So the urgency then comes because I'm saying, come on, stuff is going on over here. Let's hurry up. Let's go. Do you get me?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not it's a process, and we have to recognize the consistent onslaught. And the reason why I say that is because you're saying you talk to the woman in your block. How about you talk to the children? And not to say
slow that one down. Whoa. No, man, talking to other people's children.
No, okay, not literally speaking, but the reason why I'm saying that is because that shows you our children today and yesterday, but definitely today is a clean example of how intensified the war has got. And when people compare how we grew up, not just in terms of where we had to go in terms of youth clubs and stuff like that, when we think about really how we've grown up within our families and that we had families and we had a certain community structure, even in this some level of its dysfunctionality, you know, but we had a community structure. Do you know that there's a generation that's growing up without no community structure on any level?
That's right. No youth clubs, nothing. Yeah.
But I'm saying not just youth clubs. I'm talking about your own family.
Yeah.
Most of us who are first and second generation to this country, we grew up a certain kind of way because our parents and our grandparents from the Caribbean and the continent came with their culture. Do you understand?
Yeah,
so there's certain things, certain ways of beingness that I can talk to you and Kel and Lady Divine and Raven about because we all experience cultural norms in how we was raised in terms of elders, family get-togethers, night, all kinds of different things.
Yeah.
There's generations that's not growing up with none of that. And the nuances of what you learn about yourself and how to be with other people and just so many different things you learn within the structure of your community environment and your family environment. It's next levels. So when I'm seeing that it's not, when I can see now how it's impacting this younger generation because they don't have it because it's so absent. And we play a big part in that because we're not carrying on certain cultural norms as well. We don't want nobody in our yard too pretty to have people in there. Yeah. Me, I understood something from young before I knew certain things. I did open up my house to other picnic them. So my house not pretty like everybody, but the children have memories and I'm seeing them grow up and they still come here today. So we give thanks. But the point I'm making is there's a younger generation they just don't have. And that's a war. That's a cultural war. When I ask a 9-year-old, where's your grandma from? And he looks at me blankly. He hasn't got a clue. Something
that's
is wrong.
Crazy. That's a disconnect. That's definitely a disconnect.
Welcome, Brother Issa, to the panel.
The Black Intellect. Welcome. Intellect. What do you think of this? I'm trying something for the first time next week. It's kind of a soft start last Wednesday. But we're going to move up a gear this Wednesday. So as you know, I do this chess and politics at Speaker's Corner, but I've never done anything outside Speaker's Corner. So for the first time this Wednesday, I'm bringing the chess set to a restaurant. I've had dealing with this this black restaurant owner in Tottenham. It's called Electric Grub. I've just put the details there in the side. And so the idea is to bring that Speaker's Corner energy to Tottenham, because it's cold now. So the restaurant's nice and warm. So he's let me have a table right in the center of the restaurant. So I want to put 4-player chess and 2-player chess. But the idea is that whilst people see the chess set, it's not really, the chess is secondary. It's really about people gathering, finding a space where we can talk, use the chess to break the ice and have conversation, talk about politics and things like that. And some of the elders, I've told them about it because I had some meetings today in Tottenham. They're planning to come down at some stage. And so I'm trying to create a space where the young people can come and see some of the elders, and they're all talking about chess, but because some of these elders that I know, you know, they're like top business people in the city, and the kind of knowledge they have, there's no way a young black person is going to meet them, because you know these top people, you know, time is money. They have the knowledge, so they always try to publish books or something like that, but young people don't get a chance to see these people, because there's no random place where they get a chance. So I'm trying to create the space where we can have just discussions just like we're having here on this panel, but bring it back into the real world, you know, rather than just online. So that's what we're kicking off this Wednesday, and I'm hoping to raise discussions like we're having now online in that space. So if any of you get a chance to come down, it's called Electric Grub. It's a West Indian restaurant.
Electric Grub, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the opposite Tottenham Canal College, you know, and opposite the Bernie Grant Centre on the other side of the road. So you just come out Seven Sisters train station and walk towards the Bernie Grant Centre.
I think I found it. Let me post it in the group. It's on is it High Road, London?
Tottenham High Road, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let me post that in the thing. I found it. Hold on. I think that's just yeah.
Yeah, Electric Grub.
Yeah.
Tottenham. Yeah. So there's telephone numbers there as well. Yeah. So so basically what you're doing here, I just built, you know.
Hold on, fam. Just before you finish that, bro. There's a brother who said he wanted to talk, I think, about the abduction thing, but because we've got 6 people, he can't come in.
I thought back. I want to enjoy this conversation. Actually, let this person come on.
Yeah, but
peace and love, man.
Thank you, lady.
Bless up.
Okay, there we go. Welcome. Is that brother Gatalug? Was that? Am I saying that right?
Sorry, my microphone was off.
Hi, family. Can you hear us?
How you doing? Yes, I can do. How are you doing?
Excellent. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining. It was a bit of a difficult getting you on, but you're on now. We were talking about. Yeah, we were talking about. This incident with the authorities trying to abduct this lady's child. But I don't know. Did you have a kind of something you would like to just unpack?
I haven't read fully about that story, so I will check out. It's just, you know, again, sharing is caring, and you know, when they do to one, they do to all. And just experiences I've been through, which was like the system working in the sense of it hates all of us, but it does use the fact of, you know, early days was kind of maybe manufacturing the little things to make the African Commission man look as the worst individual on the planet. Yeah, so, but going on to some things I sent to you, I had experience going in, and I recorded a judge and helping the mother. I recorded them removing evidence, and it was such a sly game. It's only if you're close to it would you notice. If I gave you a pack of cards, you know you'll get 52 cards. Social services works like that sometimes. But sometimes when you hand another pack of cards to them, they don't know what cards have been taken out or changed. And that's what happened. Some cards were changed. The judge removed files, and it can be heard. And yeah, that's just the other parts of how the system does work, and it does hate all of us basically. So there's no man and woman in it. They just hate all of us basically.
Using any questions from the panel? That's so you said you said you observed like the judge swapping around evidence so it to look like
Yeah. It was done in a slow, methodical way. Like you wouldn't notice at first because it wouldn't be till 6 weeks later, they would say, "Oh, file's been lost, possibly," or they would answer a different question to files that you've handed in, and you would just be trying to emphasize you've handed in certain files.
Right.
Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you now, brother.
Oh, you're joking. I've been trying to shut. I've been shouting for time. Sorry, brother. You see this judge? So is this a high court judge or what type of court?
It was a county court judge, but it was done under a family law thing, isn't it? They've changed up the system a little bit. They've changed up the system a little bit where they've moved a whole load of things to around Canary Wharf and so forth.
Okay, so what status is the judge? Are they like QC?
No, this would have been, like I said, this would have been a district judge.
Okay, so it's more low level. So basically what you're saying is there is some kind of definite collusion where there is a concerted effort in which people in these positions are all in on the same thing.
Yeah. This will be definitely would go under, from what I've looked at, would be done. One is corruption, is kidnap, blah, 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 but would go under white collar crime, where the judges use their experience to not only do the corruption beforehand, but they have to now fool their colleagues who are outside the room. Do you know what I mean, sort of thing? So they would come out and they'll make about a point of kind of doing a magician's kind of show. Oh, these people, they are. And they will try, because when you've handed over files to your colleagues, your colleague has a full faith and trust that you've done what ought to have been done. That's how judges and that's how the courtroom run. You've done what you ought to have been done. Right. And as you take those files, you kind of never ask your colleague, what files did you take out?
Right.
But is it not okay? From what I know of all of this, right, is that every single step of the way, it seems like almost as if there's either a secret society amongst them, which is they may not amongst themselves in their society actually say their agenda is anti-blackness, right? Although just normal anyway.
That's right.
But no, I'm saying that's just the normal part. But I'm saying for it to be dedicated in that way. But what I'm saying is in their rituals and whatever else, they may not actually say it, but there's a way in which they communicate to each. So they might say, well, I read an interesting book on Albert Pike, or I read an interesting book on Margaret Sanger or something like that. And then, instead of having a ritual about it, that person's read the book. They've given feedback and said, you know what, that was a very interesting book. I like that. They know they're on board.
That's right. Smooth.
Exactly. So you see what I'm saying? Like if I gave someone a black person the ISIS papers and they come back to me and said, wow, the ISIS, bruv, that's changed my whole paradigm. I know they're on board. You get me? ISIS papers, do you know what I mean? So the Queen wrote. So what I'm saying is it may not be as blatant as that, where they can be recorded by somebody who's an infiltrator, but they could have said, if let's say they are recorded and they said, well, I just offered a book because I thought Albert Pike, he expressed a certain opinion or a perspective that we all should know. Do you know what I mean? They can get out of it if they're caught in that way. So what I'm saying is, on every level, so therefore solicitor level, obviously police level, judge level, they all seem to be aware of what they're doing when it comes to us. Right, but let me just say this because I've been talking and I'm thinking, why is no one responding? Right, my laptop was on mute. What it was one of you said something. I think it was a sister, Sankofa, said something regarding us, for instance, knowing that there's an attack on us. Right. The problem is our people, until something happens, now they want to be black. Right now they want to support a black people. Other than that, this happens to whites as well. And this is what I noticed about their thing of doing it to white people, allowing a certain amount of white people to be poor as collateral damage, is to make us look around and notice, well, there's others as well. Do you get me? So therefore, it's not just about black. It's just the way the system is and the conspiracies against all of us and all of this type of thing. Do you get what I'm saying? And they make sure it's that percentage that are. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what. You know what? In the situation I went through, if I can quickly interject, what gave me a thousand years of peace was the fact that I saw others.
Is someone in now?
I think, Brother Gata, is your TV on? Is your TV
on?
Or
it was a YouTube sounder. All right, yeah. So before I forget, sorry, what I was saying is, from what I can see, is this. I mean, when I saw this thing about the specific child lately, my head goes into conspiracy mode, because never do you really find the police and the social, they don't care about us and our children, right? So therefore, there's some either monetary benefit. If they want to keep them in hospital, my head goes into conspiracy mode of they found something unique in their blood or their genes, and they want to pull out their stuff to experiment. Do you know what I mean? And just like Tuskegee and all these other things that they've done to us in the past, 20, 30 years later, they want to say, oh, this is what they used to do 20, 30 years before. Do you see what I'm saying? But while it's happening, we're not, we're called conspiracy theorists by our own coons. Do you get me? Because we want to learn from the past. Sorry, our own people that are not, whatever, that are anti our thing. I think, sorry, coming back to, because I really wanted to get into that chess thing you said, my brother. How much people does that place hold?
Oh, right. Okay. There's a picture of it there. If you go into the website, there's a picture you can see. It holds, I reckon it holds, I can look at the picture now. It holds about, what's it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So about 30 people.
Okay. I mean, the thing is, it sounds like a place which would grow big quick, right? I thought about this type of thing with Kalam, right? When we started the Titans TV and Speakers Corner years ago. As soon as you're saying that, I'm thinking one of my first thoughts is security, because as Brother Carol keeps pointing out, a code of conduct needs to be adhered, imbibed, and become part of us, where no matter how we feel, that code of conduct is the restrictive set of principles and factor that restrain us. Do you get me?
Brilliant point. You've raised an excellent point. So look at this. I was having a talk with the manager of the restaurant, and that's the point that you raised. So here's what here's the plan. Here's the plan. Very interesting point you've made there. I want to use the Speaker's Corner format, in that there's no set time. People just arrive and they go. They arrive and they go. So it's like in, out. So I'm generating that kind of feel. And the only code of conduct that I persuaded the manager to agree with is that when people come on that Wednesday night, and I've reserved that table for chairs and so on, the code of conduct is that no personal conversations. It's all about so basically, how do I explain it? It's because what usually happens, people come and it starts to build, and people start to enjoy themselves, and the more and more people start, and then some people hang about outside and so on. And as it starts to build, this is what I believe is the critical points. You tell me if I think this is what, if you agree, and I'll listen to your opinion. But here's my position. I'm saying that things, in my experience, they all go well, and then as the people increase in number, then they start feeling obliged to ask personal questions. So so I'm always, look, I'm Mr. IC3. So if somebody wants to know, oh, where do you live? I'm here. We talk politics and we play chess. Right? Don't ask about my mum, my dad, my sister, who I know, who's going to bed with who's having sex with who's going to. I'm not interested. We're here. We talk chess. We play chess, learn chess, and we talk politics and world affairs. If you want to, if there's any debate or argument, take it outside. So I spoke to the manager and said, look, once you get into that conversation, you're having a debate about who's going out with who or who's sleeping with who. On this Wednesday night, please take that outside. No arguments, no personal arguments inside in this space. So that's my approach.
I'll be honest. No offense, it wouldn't work. If it's
wait. Can I respond? Sorry,
let's hear all your responses. I want to hear all your responses.
My thing won't take long. It won't take long.
Go on,
saying, with the state of our people right now, you literally you can't have randoms coming in there. You know, our people are sort of programmed to try and undermine people if they got a different opinion and blah blah blah. So
correct.
You would need to have a select set of disciplined people that I suggest you take a camera in there and you record it. So you shut the doors, you pull down the shutters and all of that, and you have a select group of people that demonstrate and continuously show week after week, this is how we behave, this is how we interact. Kind of like a podcast. Do you get what I'm saying? But there can be other things going. You can have, you know, if you're allowed music, whatever else, playing chess, whatever it is that's going on, right? But because the first lot, we already start calling each other stupid, or that's a stupid idea, and it just escalates all the time, bro. So
correct.
The code of conduct thing entail is the whole point. Until someone's, you know, literally living the code of conduct in their everyday life, I'll be honest, it's just going to implode for random.
Okay. Let's hear other people's opinions. Go on then. Next one.
Not to you, my elder. I want to respond to brother intellect, but more in terms of just setting the record straight again, because this narrative of, oh, they don't care about black babies and all this and they don't care about us, that's dead. That's what I mean. Let's stay focused. Nobody fights as hard as they do to destroy a people that they don't care about. That don't make no sense.
No, our welfare, meaning they don't care about our welfare, meaning they don't care about our people's welfare.
I'm saying we need to, that's the narrative that keeps us jaded. It keeps us in the clouds because we come with an isolated conversation. Like, again, channels like this is part of that education process, because when we're like, oh, but what they do to their own, that is their culture. Yeah, that's not a now thing. That's not a when our grandparents came thing. Yeah, that's their culture. Our culture is not to abuse African children. We don't do that. Children are sacred in our culture. Do you understand? So I'm saying, and that's a universal thing. That's what I'm saying. When we, again, in the smallest of ways, when we're talking about the youth clubs, we was running our youth clubs, regardless of the political status that got us there and the crumbs that Labour gave people and blah, blah, blah. We was the ones that put in the time. Yeah? All them back in the day, all them pirate radio station DJs, them used to put on the little all-dayers and the festivals. This is like tiny droplets of culture I'm talking about. But I'm saying that we did that. Do you understand?
Right.
So what I'm saying that this narrative of they don't care about us is a dead narrative.
But I don't understand, because so you actually think they have our welfare?
They don't have none of our welfare at heart, but they are very much invested in our genocide. They're very much invested in our genocide. So I'm saying that to say they don't care about us, that's not. They very much care. It's quite clear. Again,
Okay,
it's their
so
culture.
you're taking the
Our
word care to mean
culture,
something different.
the
Okay.
reason why I was talking about, us organizing what we used to do back in the day, I'm just saying that that's the present day example of how important our children was to us, because we made sure we organized around our children. Yeah, that's the most present day examples I'm giving. But I'm saying that it's within the length and breadth of the continent that is ingrained in our culture. Elders, the protection of our elders, the wisdom of our elders. Yeah, that's in our culture. That is not for them culture.
Yeah.
That's the culture. They don't care for them elders. They don't care for them picnic. Yeah, when they was pushing up chimney up and Oliver is not a tale. It is a real life situation.
I mean, yeah.
So the point I'm making is education is key. So when we teach ourselves what their culture is and what our culture is, it's not a case of, but they're doing it to Johnny down the road.
Obviously,
for them business, because that's what they do to themselves.
No, sis, we do need a Betterment. We need a Black Betterment neighborhood watch. We definitely organize something like that. Definitely, the collective of males needs to check up on each houses in the community. Perhaps we could fund perhaps £10 for their services, whether you are working your own business or working for non-African people, or even JSA, whatever you may be on, to fund this so we can check up on the sisters. Black Betterment Neighborhood Watch.
100%. I think Sankofa, I think you misunderstood the term care, as in, I understand what you're saying in your context, but what I prefaced everything I was saying was that the people that you can go to who are Black would use that as a reason to not listen to what you've got to say as a Black person. So when you're talking about following African culture, however you, or Black culture,
like I said before, we're not. However long it took you to be who you are and have the knowledge you have, it's a process, and we recognize we're at war, and it's a consistent thing. Yeah, so we're traumatized people. We've gone through much.
Yeah, but
there's no walking up to no one and saying, "Yeah, let's do this now." If it's not resonating with you, you don't get it. Then it's going to take a minute. If you get there, we hope and pray. But if us who know better, like Raven knows better, he has created the Betterment channel, the Black Betterment channel, and he's doing works behind the scenes because he knows better. So he knows I have to put in some work.
So you're saying to wait until they evolve? Is that what you're saying?
No. He's putting in work today.
Not him. I'm talking about the people that I said when you talk and you get this response.
No,
what
they will. The more we do, the more that we know better, and the more that we do the work, then people will see things happening.
I agree.
The more we're doing any talking and we're not doing any working, then they can't see nothing now. Go on.
I agree, but I don't know what's contradictory here. I don't see what you're claiming was what you wanted to come back at, apart from the word care. Because I'm saying this is what they will respond with, and therefore there is something else. And the brother presented his
There
restaurant.
is no nothing else. No, he was talking about something separate. But I'm saying there is.
I'm saying they're tied in. They're tied in together in that these people. So in other words, I said that and was providing a solution to it. Yeah. The brother mentioned his restaurant, and I'm saying those types of people.
His restaurant was a solution to communication and education.
That's fine, but what I'm saying is that's an example of something of which I'm talking about. So therefore, for instance,
that's not what I was responding to. I was responding to
I know. I'm talking about what I was suggesting is a solution or a type of a solution. For instance, something like this, i.e. the restaurant thing, would be where people can see Black people discussing all of these issues and can relate to it. If the central thing is, let's say, chess, and chess can be seen as symbolic for something else, a war, etc. So what I'm saying is, did you say I wasn't? Is that what you just said?
I'm going to say I didn't pick up on any of that. What I would say with the elders doing, I would say that that's a good part in terms of developing our social spaces. But you see what Raven is talking about. Raven is talking about nation building. Do you understand? So whereas the elder space is important, there's a beginning to everything. If we're talking look, Brother Kel talked about brothers organizing in their community. That's a now. That's a actionable today situation. Do you understand? We can say, there's when somebody says, oh, there's no spaces where I can go to and just have a nice reasoning and develop my knowledge and rare tear, then we'll point them to Baba IC3's chess in Tottenham. But in the here and now, I need to make sure Babylon can't knock my door and steal my picnic. So I beg you do, when you finish talking, can you come and help organize with the Black and Betterment brothers so I know I feel safety in my community? That's what I'm talking about. That today action.
Yeah. And that's the problem, see. We've done a lot of these things before. We can even see, I think it's Forever Family or something like that, where a lot of these things are being tried. And basically, as Kale, this is where I refer back to Kale's thing of the code of conduct. If you don't have that as a preliminary, then the very thing you're seeking to solve the problem with becomes the people that become your enemy, or the problems that cause all these divisions. And that's the problem. So we've already had a group recently coming with all these solutions to the society's problems, and we can see the division and the problems directly relating to this sisters.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We keep doing the work to make sure we build them codes of conduct. Because that's what I mean. What does it mean then? We don't build the codes of conduct.
Not at all. I'm saying we always look at the problem.
So we make sure that we make sure that when Raven puts out his recruitment sheet, we sign up and we humble ourselves to the codes of conduct. That's what we know we do.
So
because
family,
we know better.
So the strategy. So the thing is, from my research, what tends to happen is a lot of the initiatives that many people have that of a collective nature usually starts from the grassroots, but also starts from like the people who are most affected by the change they're trying to fix. So then you might have a higher level of damage from the people who are actually starting out these initiatives, and we tend
absolutely.
We tend to find it, and this is something I'm aware of. But when you have this very grassroots way of starting, many people might not be used to certain concepts or ideas, like like things like accountability in the standpoint, like they used to be free and do what they want when they want. But no, you're part of a collective. You speak for a collective, so everything you do might reflect upon you. But sometimes what I do is I enter.
Raven, sorry to interrupt you. That's the work,
Of course.
Before even talking about the 101, the 0.11, that's the beginning.
Yeah, but what I tend to do is when I go to places, I usually try to say, by the way, I recommend that if we're going to operate, we have these particular fundamental rules, and usually these rules makes people on edge. Oh, these are quite strict, these kind of rules, and I say, okay, well, let's try it. And then what will happen is I list the reason why we have the rules, and it sounds like they're losing their freedoms, right? But then what happens is time goes by, and the reasons why I suggest the rules happens, and I go, guys, now it's happened. This is why. So in most of my work in the collective groups, it comes from me presenting something, it not being understood or appreciated, and then something going wrong, and then okay, this is the reasons why. So that's unfortunately that's what tends to happen. So the idea is someone like me, the only way I can really implement certain kind of stuff is by people realizing he keeps saying the same thing all the time, and every time I see him on TV or the internet, he keeps saying the same thing all the time. Maybe there's something to what he's saying, and that's the strategy I have to have.
That's the strategy for all. Absolutely, that's me. Yeah. That's me in culture all day. Yeah. Culture has rules and regulations. So when people tell me about, they're spiritual free beings floating in the sky and them adore them one door, and then they're gonna talk about my art. Well, no, not my art you're talking about, because the art I know is truth, righteousness, justice, balance, order, and reciprocity. Yeah. So you need to know how to pattern up yourself. And every spiritual system has order and structure. Every single one of them. Our culture is full of order and structure. Rites of passage has purpose. Do you understand? Right. So that's my consistent conversation. You do have to stay on job, because you know it to be true. It has its foundation. It's consistent.
So one of the things I do when I go to either speakers or a clubhouse or a place where there's a whole lot of brothers and sisters is try to predict where the average person might try to indirectly derail a constructive conversation and have a talking tactic to get back on track. And I think that's one of the things that I would like to get from these situations, because I think you started very beautifully when you said race first, yeah, like not understanding the value of race first, and this entire broadcast is talking about black people and black issues. So it's the rebranding of ideas, so it can be digested by people and be able to say things, do things to get black people, African people to look after ourselves. Really, you see, to take full initiative that if we don't do it, it won't get done. That kind of concept. Right.
Here's the thing, and this is, we can look at our past and how things were, right? And we can have a nostalgia and all the brilliant, the different things that we feel about how beautiful it was. But one of the things I noticed is the way that this system has come in so fast with this electro-addicted type of technology, or addictive type of technology, is that we kind of have to go with the flow of it. And one of the things I was saying with the IC freeze thing, where if you have that particular thing, for instance, where elders and even a few youngers, or of all as many age groups as we can have, if he's got 30 people in there, and you have it like a podcast and you video it, the discipline, the examples of discipline and how we interact would set a norm. Do you get what I'm saying? If that's what they continuously see on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, you know, somebody says something out of line, say, wait, brother, and he falls back in line because he's recognized this code of conduct. Do you get what I'm saying? You won't even have to say black. If they continuously see black people behave this way, how we interact. You think of it, most of our problems center around the lack of a positive code of conduct of our interaction. That's basically the problem. How we interact with each other. That's it.
Okay. Slow it down. Hold it a minute. Let's break it down what you're saying. Let's break it down bit by bit, because you're dropping some lots of heavy points there. Good points. Now, the concept of a podcast and the camera and demonstrating in front of the camera. Now, I want to challenge that. It's a good point. I think a lot of people would agree with you. But I remember at Speaker's Corner when PC Steve Barnes was there, and I started to bring the chairs and set up, you know, do what I do. He said that because I started to bring the chairs there, that the whole place had kind of calmed down. The aggressiveness had calmed down, and he was also saying that the police, they see that cameras is like a love and hate. They have a love and hate for the cameras because there's lots of cameras. Everybody's filming everybody and shouting and screaming at everybody, and there's cameras there. They're saying that he was telling me that the police, they have all the evidence. If there's any trouble, there's always cameras, and so they love it in terms of being able to find out who the troublemakers are. But they said the twist is that they hate it because everybody starts to over behave in order to show off in front of the cameras. So he said to me, could I move my operation to the north part of Speaker's Corner where it's quiet? So that's why I moved from there. That's why I moved, and to try and bring people there, and not to encourage cameras as an alternative space within the Speaker's Corner. So all the cameras and all the fighting, and then when I moved from there, that's when the stabbing, you know, when Hatu got stabbed down there, it all went crazy again. You see, it all went crazy there. And so I'm up in the quiet end, and you know, it's more civilized up there. And the police said, "Oh, we love to have you here. We love to have you here." So I'm staying right there because I don't want to get involved in the savagery that's going on down there with this stabbing and everybody's. So I said all of that to say that if I was to start bringing cameras into that restaurant, that poor man's restaurant, I'm sure that there's going to be crowds on Tottenham High Road. There's going to be a whole heap of people hanging about outside. There's going to be people hanging about inside. It's going to be like a club, and with cameras there. They're going to be showing off in front of the cameras, and it's going to the police have to be called there. I know. I don't want that energy. I just want cool, calm, collected, minimal number of people. I'm not going for the crowds. Don't need the crowds because with the crowds comes the drama, drama and the cameras.
I hear you. Here's the problem, bro. This is what I'm saying. Yeah, we have cameras on our phone. Okay.
Yes.
So if you're inviting young people, bruv, anything that someone is a deep, that's deep. I don't know. Say that again. Take out their phone, and then they're gonna start videoing, and then someone else, yo, bruv, come down here. This is jokes. I'm saying, trust me. If you don't organize it, it's a brilliant idea. And anything that's a good idea. Remember, people are bored, bruv. Do you get me?
I know.
Right. So anything that's interesting, and I'm saying it's a brilliant idea. And it's something I suggested to a next brother a few years ago, but I'm not really into the camera and the editing and all of that, yeah? Right. But I'm saying for a starting point, if you don't have it controlled, I'm saying the nature of our people right now, the way that we've been conditioned, is to destroy anything that's pro-black. That's the program in the back of our mind, right?
Yes.
So I'm saying, all I'm saying is, I said put down the shutters. Right,
I know. I heard you.
Because you can edit it,
but the whole vibe. Think about it. The vibe, right? Yeah. It's a restaurant that's normally open, every week, and then all of a sudden on a Wednesday night, the shutters go down. I mean, no, come on, man. I mean, people are gonna start thinking, what's going on there on a Wednesday night? What's happened at that restaurant? Why have all of a sudden every Wednesday night they're putting the shutters down? What's going on in there?
Listen. Bro, even if you don't, if you film it after closing time with the shutters down, what my point is, brother, these things, look, conspiracy theories, stuff that's factually true. Let's say, for instance, this incident, right? And people knew you were going to talk about this on Wednesday. Do you think only 30 people are going to turn up? If someone's just walking past to get food down the road or whatever else, you don't think they're passing there to see what's going on and give their 2 pence? So I'm saying it's just natural. So this is what I'm saying. We do love to talk about these things, but also a lot of us love to get off what's on our chest. Do you get me? We're feeling frustrated and angry and stuff, and they like to get it off there. Do you get me? Relieving pressure.
Right. So how do you manage that? We're both going for the same solution, and you're saying how to manage that energy, right? The best way is to put the shutters down and lock it in, and then have order and display that order, and then hopefully inspire other people to come on a Wednesday night because they've seen it online on a podcast and seen it. Oh, look, all these people are very disciplined. I can understand your
let me change that. Sorry, let me change it.
Yeah, you want to change it now? Go on.
No. Because listen. Let me change it. So I'm involving it, right?
Okay.
So you keep the thing running, but you limit how many people can come in. Okay. So
that's reasonable.
Security at the door, and you say, "Well, we're doing a thing tonight. Only a certain amount of people are allowed in." Blah blah. Do you see what I'm saying?
For fire regulation. Yeah. Okay. That's we'll do that. We'll do that. Yeah. We'll do that.
Again, code. You got to say, read these. Do you agree to these? Blah blah blah. And you, because your voice and your character, is a really good calming character for that. Do you see what I'm saying? And even the way you dress and stuff like that, it says a lot. Do you know what I mean about you? It's really interesting. But I'm saying again, I suggest, you know what I mean, if you have it like that recorded, and again, if people know that it's limited. I mean, the problem is people might just come down just to have a look through from outside. Do you see what I mean?
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, not really. If you've got 100 people just gathering outside to argue and debate outside about the topic,
okay, well,
last week.
but the kind of tone and the kind of I'm trying to make it build slowly. I don't want big crowds, just like at Speaker's Corner. That's what I'm saying. Just slowly, word of mouth. I'm not pushing because I don't need. The place is too small. We don't really need big crowds. You know, in Tottenham High Road. Just let it grow organically and slowly. That's the plan anyway. That's the plan. Plus, I'm talking with the owner of the shop, and it's his shop, so he can say, "Look, that's enough. Sorry about that. We're too full tonight. It's my shop, you know." So you can just, you know, that's it. So maybe next week, come back next week, but we can't take any more people tonight. That's it. No problem. It's not a dancing nightclub with people getting drunk and stuff like that.
I hear you.
So family, we've hit the 2.5 hour mark now. So we're can we have our final messages from the panel?
Yeah, I missed the majority of the show, unfortunately, but you know, I heard there's a gathering or a march or something, a protest, I think, for this these two children that have been stolen from their mothers. So hopefully whoever's listening can go and look that up. Yeah, keep doing the good work, brothers and sisters. Good show again, brother.
Yeah, great show. That's what I got to say. Keep it up. Keep up the work.
Yeah, but as I was saying, there needs to be the Black Betterment Neighborhood Watch. We need to fund each area to check up on the Black women and children. Also, brother, we do need to have like a demonstration which needs to be very intense, so the law knows that unless these children are returned back, you know, everywhere in the UK, just like the Brixton, the Birmingham, the Wolverhampton, and the Manchester riots, that's coming back. You know, let go of them children, or there's going to be the Brixton, Birmingham, all that's coming back. You know, a lot of us are politically affiliated and gang affiliated, so we can definitely cause that. And also, we need to get the hate crime, racism for Black people, like how it was the 1965 Racial Discrimination Act. We need that for only our people only, and we need to sort that out, whether it be funding Brother Dino Kai or something like that. But we need to get that lawly for us only. Big up the show and big up Brother Issa, Alda, IC3, Lady D, Mr. Sankoff, and the rest. Big up.
Yeah. And Sister Sankova, last words.
Just big up everyone. Big up everyone. And you know, excuse my passion sometimes. It's been a stressful week, brothers and sisters. But yeah, race first all day, every day. Everything Brother Kale said. Big up the show, big up the works that you're doing. And I just wanted to say, I think as well, with Forever Family, they're not over as far as I'm aware. They're still very functional and doing the work. So yeah, where we know people are doing the work, if it's just about sharing what they're doing, wherever we can support them, donating, whatever, like let's be a lot more proactive with what we know is happening.
There you go. And big up Lady Divine as well, and the guest, and also was it Gata? Also a big up Brother Gata who jumped on. But until then, Black Betterment, everyone, check next week. Hope we have a good day, and hopefully we can all support on Sunday at 12. Follow Sister Afua for more information. Thank you very much.
Okay, take care. Bye.
I see free. Don't go yet, bro.
Oh, okay.